This is the text message I sent my friend third quarter. The Eagles just aren't that good. Win or lose tonight, they're just not that good.
Yeah.
And, John, that's the thing. I mean, we know in the end it was a loss. It wasn't a win. That's really what struck me more than anything watching it last night. Like, they could have won. They could have lost. They should have won, okay? They should have won.
Yeah, they should have.
They should have won. But even if they had won, they're just not that good. And, you know, and it's for a plethora of reasons. I mean, first off, let's talk about last night. The Eagles' offense let them down again, big time, in a really, really big way. I mean, the defense, for the most part, did a lot of good things last night. Now, it wasn't, the hardest defensive assignment against Drew Lock. And for most of the game, the Eagles' defense did a really good job. Again, for most of the game. I'll get to the end of the game in a second. For most of the game, the Eagles' defense did a nice job. The Eagles' offense did not do their job. I mean, all the Eagles' offense has to do is go out there and approximate anywhere even close to last year. Anywhere even close to it, and the game is over. In the fourth quarter, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if James Bradbury has a bad fourth quarter. The game's over. But the Eagles' offense didn't do their job. And a lot of that is because Jalen Hurts didn't do his job. He has officially regressed dramatically. Let me say that again. Jalen Hurts has officially regressed dramatically. And it's a major problem. Now, look, so too might be the play design and play calls of Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. You know, this is one of those things, and we were through this with Carson a number of years ago, how much is on the coach, how much is on the coordinator, how much is on the quarterback. I know this. I've seen enough pro football to know when a quarterback's not playing very well, and this quarterback's not playing very well. I mean, it's just a basic fact. As far as the defense go, obviously at the end of the game, they completely messed up, and obviously a lot of that was James Bradbury, who just, you start getting into a spot now where you say, man, I wonder about the cap implications for next year. Like, there's some guys on this team, you start saying to yourself, all right, I know I'm focused on right now. I know I'm focused on hopefully this team can do something in January. But I'm also starting to peek ahead to next season and say, man, there's some dudes you just can't bring back. And it's like, well, hell, let me look up the cap implications if they cut that guy or that guy or that guy. So, Bradbury's killing him. And then Sirianni, it's a weird thing. I mean, in late November, I think he's a great coach. And now in mid-December, I'm like, what in the world do we have here with this guy? Guys, it's not good. They obviously, as we know, are going to make the playoffs and, be either a 2 seed, a 3 seed, or a 5 seed. But they just are not that good a football team. And that's the thing more than anything else. And again, win or lose, and we know in the end it was a loss. That was what struck me second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and frankly, honestly, good portions of the season as well, even when they were winning, but now it's more alarming. Look, want to hear from everyone at 215-592-9494. I mean, we obviously all wake up disgusted today. John, your thoughts on everything going on?
We knew this team wasn't good enough deep down, and we kept justifying things. I know I kept justifying things. The 2-minute offense, we never seemed to lean into it. We never seemed to convert with points at the end of a first half, at the end of a second half.
They tried.
Well,
they failed.
They half-heartedly tried for portions of the season.
It was the first down throw. And then, the ball didn't go anywhere.
No, and then yesterday, what I'm saying is yesterday there were several occasions where it would have served them extremely well to have had practice under their belts, actually trying in a 2-minute offense situation in that sort of scenario. It was both halves yesterday, and we actually got it back twice.
That's right.
At the end of the game.
They had 3 total, 3 in the game, under 2-minute drives, and they all went nowhere.
How about that?
Yeah, 3 times.
It finally comes back calling. That was weak. We knew it was weak. We knew it was good enough. It wasn't what great teams do. Great teams score. Anytime you've got the ball back with any amount of seconds at the end of a first half, you go and score a touchdown, a field goal, and then you get the ball back with the second half kickoff. You tack on a whole bunch of extra points. We never did that. And it seemed like, you know what? We're so good in other ways that maybe I don't have to worry so much about that. And people told me maybe I shouldn't worry so much about that. And I tried. And I did worry less about that. And I started worrying less about everything. Like, hey, they just do it differently than what I'm accustomed to. The hot adjustment. Okay, it doesn't look like the receiver himself is adjusting his route. He is not sight adjusting his route. That's different than what I'm accustomed to. Nick tells me they're hot adjusting. I guess I'll just believe him. It's just different than what I'm accustomed to. What we've found out is what they're doing is not working. There's a reason why that West Coast stuff has been in place as long as it has, because it really is smart and it really does work. And what we're doing now, a lot of it's departing from what works. And now we're seeing that in practical application. We're seeing we have not been good enough in so many ways. And I put a lot of yesterday, the majority of yesterday on the offense.
No question about it.
I know that the
totally
defense
agree.
had a new play caller.
I totally agree.
And okay, Matt Patricia could have been better. Maybe he had limited guys to work with. Matt Patricia held that team to 20 points. I know it's a backup quarterback. You need to be able to score more than 17 points to win in this league.
I totally agree.
If you're a proud team with any sort of offense, you score more than that. So your offense needs to get in gear. That's Nick Sirianni. That's Brian Johnson. That's Jalen Hurts. I don't understand. There are so many ways that we can be better.
John, why can't
Previously,
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why is the offense so pedestrian? Because they do have what seems like an all-star roster of offensive players.
Do.
Why is the offense so pedestrian?
I believe because it is predictable and basic. It is not as interesting. The creativity, you don't see new plays folded in with the bread and butter plays.
Yeah.
I see new plays folded in when I watch Miami and when I watch Andy Reid and that Kansas City. That Kansas City offense struggles, but Andy's still throwing new plays in week after week after week. I don't see them as obviously with our offense. We previously had not offered. We hadn't handed the ball to backs previously. Yesterday we did a good job of finally getting on that track. In the first half, I think it was 23 carries by our team in the first half, a lot to the backs. We had 90 yards. Things were on track. We had two really successful drives. One that netted a touchdown, one that netted a field goal. It was 15
the Kelsey
plays,
penalty
16 plays.
It killed.
Oh, they were really on top of us.
I know.
So,
you know what? I don't
blame
them.
Throw every flag you can find.
I don't blame them. It's a foul.
It sounds to me like they're not going to overrule the play itself. They're just going to officiate the play extremely tight, and we got to do a better job with it. I'm fine with that. But Jalen does not feel like he trusts his protections enough. Like historically this season, that felt like a problem. Never got the ball quickly out. Never got the ball out quickly enough. Felt like he was breaking the pocket, running for the sideline repeatedly. But we said, hey, you know what? They're still winning big. They can run the ball and everything will be good. Jalen looked a little tentative. Looked like he forgot how to manage the game aggressively. Like the running back / quarterback type thing that he could do, flip that switch. Yesterday, I did see some more of that, and that was promising. But again, it was too little, and it was Jalen being too tentative. Like that, the excellence, the greatness, that unlikely play has almost been managed out of our quarterback because he's protecting himself too much at times. But he did let go of some of that conservativeness yesterday, and I loved the burst a couple times. Previously, we've been fumbling games away, turning the ball over. Again yesterday, interceptions hurt us.
Well, with some
ball away.
Bad decision-making.
Bad decision-making by
Jalen.
all
they needed was about 15, 20 yards for probably the second best kicker in pro football, in Jake Elliott.
Yep.
And you're throwing the ball, 45 yards down the field in a double coverage, and then
it's bad decision-making by Jalen, bad playmaking. Just like playmaking, bad play design by the offensive staff. And then, of course, on the defensive side of things, James Bradbury,
he's killing him.
We can no longer put him in a position where he is singled up and you are I like that we're jockeying the safeties, that they're moving at the snap.
Yeah.
I like that they're disguising. But man, when you're disguising too much, and that means Reed Blankenship can't get over there in time because he's going from 2 safeties to 1 safety, and he's a little late because you're shifting Sidney Brown down late, trying to make it look like something else. Man, James Bradbury needed that help. He needed that safety help. He's not fast enough to keep up with these receivers any longer. You got to play it that way from here forward. We've learned here. Yeah. Matt Patricia, you learn what you've got. Now, I think you can do a better job moving forward. I am encouraged that the defense can be better. I am very discouraged that our offense was the reason we lost that game.
Well, look, we'll take your reaction, 215-592-9494. There's no doubt in my mind the offense was absolutely the biggest reason, and contained within that was Jalen. It's just, I'll say this. I feel beaten down. I know the season's not over, but I feel beaten down, and I know this feeling as a Philadelphia sports fan. I remember it. I had gotten used to not feeling it. I'm feeling it again, and I don't like it, obviously. Look, we'll take your calls, 215-592-9494. Just a disastrous loss by the Eagles, 3rd in a row. Joe DeCamera, John Rich, it is, of course. Your phone call's next on 94 WIP.